Name's Master Stephen Howard Trevor. Friends call me Steve. I've been a lot of things in my life. Paperboy, frat boy, spy, pilot, military liaison. Currently I am hostage of Meninist terrorists who broke into a Star Labs biotech firm, hoping to steal a chemical compound believed to make women subservient. I am also the only one here who knows this lab's main field of study is trans-species modification for military application. I've been a lot of things, but I'm most known for being one thing in particular. I'm the guy who found paradise and brought a piece of it back. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my recap and review of Wonder Woman Steve Trevor #1. Alright, so this is kind of how we want to do our recaps and reviews from now on. We're kind of testing the waters, trying something out here. I think the idea is we're going to just do little snippets of the comic, little concentrated bits of narration instead of the whole thing, and that might be a nice compromise between us and Warner Brothers and Marvel to another extent. So let us know what you think. I think it could actually be kind of fun. There's a benefit to this in that we don't have to worry about the usual business of copyright and all that stuff, but we can also do a little direct quote, and it won't take us as much time to make these videos, so there could be some fun to it. Because we get to do like little direct quotes, we really couldn't do that before because it was already kind of a thing. So I think this is a good compromise, and you know, it'll let us focus on other content too, which is kind of fun. Some of the bigger, more loftier projects we've been trying to do, but time is always an issue. These shorter little recap things will be easier to do in a shorter amount of time, so the focus can go on bigger projects, longer videos, that sort of thing. So in that regard, I think it's a good direction for our channel. Anyways, let's talk about the comic. I thought it was kind of funny we ended up starting on this one because, oh boy, that opening narration is a little on the nose, one might think. That's the only way I know how to put it. It really is pretty heavy-handed when it comes right down to it, and it does affect the quality of the comic, at least at the start, because it's just so over the top. Here's how I think of it. Like, imagine if someone had written this comic just with the genders flipped. So instead of starting out with, you know, these meninists who are looking for this chemical to make women subservient, imagine if these were chemicals to make men subservient. It's fine, it just is a little goofy. So, what are we left to do with this? And, you know, it doesn't affect the comic as a whole, because the rest of the comic is pretty good, and I like the art. I think there's a lot of really good outlines. I like how they kind of go about little bits of aspects of this comic. I think that's really well done. The rest of the comic reads as this sort of Indiana Jones style adventure, or like Captain America the First Avenger, where he forms this ragtag little team of soldiers, and they go searching for this Fountain of Youth thing, and there's hijinks along the way. A new villain's introduced that I think is kind of interesting, and they hint will potentially return in a future story. That's always cool. So the comic itself is fine, but it just starts so over the top that it's a little bit goofy and heavy-handed and just kind of unnecessary. Say what you will about it, but I do think to a degree Tim Seeley as a writer might be kind of part of this. He's always a little bit over the top, so whatever, it's fine. So the comic ends up just kind of being okay. It's not a bad comic by any means. I do like how it goes about the story in certain regards. It's, as a standalone kind of comic, it's not a bad issue by any means. It's just okay. It's not like the best Steve Trevor story in the world. It's not the best Wonder Woman story by any means. She's barely in it at all. As a little side addition to the Wonder Woman movie and like just a special issue being published, it's actually quite good and nice in that regard. Thinking about the Wonder Woman movie, and even without getting into spoilers or anything, the fact of the matter is it takes place in World War I, so without a doubt Steve Trevor's role is going to be limited, just like it was for Sharon Carter with Captain America, or her aunt. But whichever of the two, Agent Carter from the show is stuck in the past, so because Wonder Woman and Captain America are these heroes flung into the future by various means. Obviously, Wonder Woman's immortal and Steve got stuck in ice, but same idea. Steve Trevor's going to have a very fleeting role in the DC cinematic universe. So, like, no matter how that story goes, I'm not giving away anything by saying that. It's just common sense. Unless they do some time travel stuff. But I guarantee you he'll show up again in, like, archival footage or as, like, little flashback cameos or something. At some point or another, he's going to crop up, even if it's just like a picture on Diana's desk or something like that. But regardless, that role just by definition is going to be limited. So taking advantage of that now and having a Steve Trevor story while the iron's hot, so to speak, does make sense. All that being said, it is kind of funny. You can tell that DC really didn't anticipate Wonder Woman to be such a big hit, because I think this is all they really had planned as any sort of comic tie-in for that movie, when it could have been a real opportunity to do something, and they still can going forward. It's just kind of funny they weren't ready for it, and you can tell, because it's just this. And this is okay, but they didn't get like a special writer for it, they didn't get, because you could have gotten Gail Simone, you could have gotten one of the older Wonder Woman writers, you could have gotten Alan Heinberg, who wrote the Wonder Woman movie and is a great comic book writer to do this. They just kind of went with Tim Seeley, who's fun. This comic's fine, but it's nothing special, and given how awesome and big the Wonder Woman movie is, something along those lines would have kind of been nice. And that kind of leaves me to the recommendation, and I don't think I would recommend it. Really, there's so many better Wonder Woman comics out there, so many better things with Steve Trevor. A lot of Alan Heinberg stuff is good. I don't recall if Steve Trevor's in that at all. I really like Brian Azzarello's run with Wonder Woman, although that doesn't have Steve Trevor whatsoever. But if you kind of dig around, I'm sure there are better Steve Trevor comics out there, usually among the classic stuff. Even if you go back to the Golden Age comics, there's a lot of awesome content from back then, as long as you kind of take it for what it is. The creator of Wonder Woman's a very interesting guy, and the comics are kind of interesting because of it. That's another story for another day, though, so in the meantime, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of the format. It's going to be trying out different stuff with editing, too, and all that, so it's a work in progress, so your feedback is appreciated. If you want to support Comic Island, check out our Patreon page, and otherwise, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.